Connect to Congress gives us a chance to periodically check in with members of the Michigan delegation. We are happy to have Senator Gary Peters joining us right now. Sir, thanks for taking some time with us. Tough week here in Michigan with the MSU shooting, and I know you have a master's degree from MSU, so the campus is extra special to you. Your reaction to what happened there on Monday night?
Well, certainly just horrified by the attack. I was alerted as the shooting began, and was able to kind of follow along as this shooter indiscriminately killed students. Absolutely terrifying. Certainly, I'm just heartbroken, as I think every Michigander is. And what those families are going through right now with the loss of their son or daughter is just unimaginable. But, you know, there's also a lot of anger. I mean, anger that here we go again. We've got another mass shooting. We've seen mass shootings almost twice a day now since the beginning of the year. And places where you think you'd be secure, whether it's a school or a college, or we're seeing places of worship, grocery stores. It's simply unacceptable, and we need to take action.
Be at a point where folks in both parties acknowledge that we need to do something. Democrats have certainly been saying that for a while, and I did see your interview last night with Alex Wagner on MSNBC, so I know you're supporting common sense measures. We spoke with a Republican state lawmaker here yesterday who agrees, but then also gave the usual now is not the time, and that any action can't be a knee-jerk move. But I have to wonder if you would see, after MSU, Uvalde, Oxford, Parkland, Sandy Hook, so many others, if taking any kind of action now would be considered a knee-jerk.
No, we just have to take action. This is something that happens every day, is gun violence. And I think folks should realize that in America today, roughly 100 people die every single day as a result of gun violence. Half of those are folks who take their lives with suicide. The other half are homicides and other kinds of attacks. So when you're talking about something that's taking the lives of 100 Americans every day, that is something that needs to be addressed. If now's not the time, when is the time? Is it going to be tomorrow when another 100 people die? Will it be the day after when another 100 people die? When do we start doing it? I would say we start doing that now. There are common sense things we can do, like closing loopholes in background checks to make sure people who should never have a weapon don't get them. Closing loopholes is common sense, and it is supported by, according to polls, over 85% of the American people believe that is a common sense thing we should do. People who are standing in the way of that are basically telling over 85% of the people in this country that they're not willing to take action for something that is leading to the deaths of people every single day. And you know, I think it's important. Sometimes people will take a particular incident and say, well, maybe this particular piece of legislation won't deal with that incident. And that's probably true. It's a complicated issue, but it will save lives. Our goal should be, are we saving lives? Are we preventing people from needlessly dying in this country? And if we're saving lives, that should be our motivating factor, and we should continue to be looking at ways to do that.
Let me ask you about the UFOs we've been shooting down. Are you satisfied with how the administration is handling this? Are you getting enough information? And as Homeland Security Chair, what do you think the impact is on that front?
Well, certainly as these objects have been taken down because they were a navigational hazard, it's important for us to make sure that the skies are safe. But we don't really know yet what exactly these objects were. We're asking those questions. I'm frustrated we still don't have those answers. Part of it, we're waiting for debris to be recovered to get a better sense. It's unfortunately unlikely that some of that debris will be recovered in the Yukon or up in the Arctic Sea. That we had one shot down in Lake Huron in Michigan waters. That can also be a challenging place, but I think we certainly need to have more information as to what these objects were. Basically, I think though we know they were not a threat, a physical threat to folks. There were no weapon systems and that were any kind of threat to people. The concern that the Department of Defense had and others was that these were objects operating in where aircraft could potentially hit them. commercial aircraft flying at those altitudes. They weren't, these objects weren't emitting transmitters or any kind of signals that would alert to their presence, which is very dangerous. And we can just imagine if an airliner would hit one of those objects, it could have clearly been catastrophic, and we needed to make sure that they were neutralized.
I know we're still early in this new Congress. What are your main legislative goals for the next 2 years?
Well, we have a lot on the plate. I chair Homeland Security Committee here, so protecting the homeland is always my top priority. One of the issues that I've been particularly focused on is cybersecurity, the fact that we have folks that are attacking our systems on a daily basis, whether they're criminal elements or state foreign governments that are attacking our systems. We need to strengthen those defenses. We were very successful in passing some comprehensive legislation in the last Congress, but there's still much more work to do, and we're going to be focusing on that, as well as looking at issues related to domestic terrorism and the rise of domestic terrorism and the threats that presents to every American.
Well, we will let you get back to that work. Senator Gary Peters, we appreciate your time this morning. Thanks.
Thank you. Great to be with you.